I want to use the remainder of this talk on the rhetorical situation and audience analysis and public speaking to apply this idea to a real-life case study. And that case study is one of the most influential and artistic speeches that's been given in recent American political history. And that speech is Robert F. Kennedy's speech in Indianapolis on April 7th, 1968. Earlier that morning, Martin Luther King had been shot and killed in Memphis, Tennessee, but news traveled a little slower then than it does now. And so Robert F. Kennedy spoke to a crowd, a predominantly African-American crowd in urban downtown Indianapolis. And the crowd didn't know yet that King had been killed. Most of the crowd had no idea of the tragic news earlier that day. And Kennedy, in fact, was campaigning for the presidency of the United States. He had just recently launched his campaign in March. And so he was scheduled to give a kind of normal stump speech, a rah-rah pep rally to get his candidacy jump-started and to try to win the Indiana primary. Instead, he abandoned his usual campaign stump speech script and spoke off the cuff and tried to identify with members of the crowd. What was happening all over the country was violence, was anger, was fear and frustration. Places like Detroit and Philadelphia and Atlanta were literally burning as a result of the riots from angry folks who had taken to the streets to protest King's murder earlier that morning. But none of this happened in Indianapolis. So I want to give you a chance to watch the speech in the next slide, and then we'll come back and I'll talk for a moment about how I think we can usefully analyze what work Kennedy did in Indianapolis that day in April of 1968 using the categories of the rhetorical situation: speaker, speech, audience, and occasion.